so we're going to use two tools today to measure our temperature of our motor, specifically in our thermostat. So our thermostat is right inside this housing here, upper radiator hose, and the thermostat that controls the coolants in here. Also, deep down inside here, where my finger's at, is your ECT sensor, your engine coolant temperature sensor. So you'll always find your ECT next to your thermostat, because that tells the computer what temperature is. So we want to monitor our engine temperature. So we're going to go to, this is the Acura. So let's see. You want Asian, Honda, Infiniti, Acura, and let's see what year it is. It is a 2000 Acura with a, let's see, a 1.9 liter. So it's going to be USA. By the way, this it says data link connection. I'm going to show you real quick where that is. So the data link connections inside on Acuras very different. It's right inside by the center console on the passenger side, not the driver's side. So I taught you the driver's side of most cars, but some cars put it on the... Okay, so we're going to start a new session. And we want to monitor engine temperature. So I'm going to go to live data after we get this to identify the car. While that's loading up, let me go over the tools. So we're going to use a pyrometer. A pyrometer measures the temperature. It's a laser light. You use a laser light. It needs to be, usually I'll give you a picture, it needs to be like a foot away to get a real reading. So right now, this car is reading 61 degrees, so you could actually touch this. It's not going to burn your hand. Okay. So we're going to use a pyrometer. We're also going to use an infrared gun. So an infrared gun actually gives you a infrared picture. Let's see. This is an infrared gun. So if you look at it, like you could use it to find a misfire, which we'll make another video on. So here's our spark plug cable going into number 4, number 3, number 2, and number 1. If I had a misfire, it would actually show you a cooler temperature. It'd be more blue around one of the cylinders. So it's a really cool little tool. This is an infrared gun. This is a pyrometer. Okay, so go ahead and stop. All right, so we don't want to do read codes because we know there's no check engine light's not on, so we don't have to read codes. Okay, we want to go down to live data here. Okay, so I'm going to go to live data, and I want to find the ECT sensor, engine coolant temperature sensor, right here. Okay, so I'm going to pick that. Okay, I'm also going to look for a fan, see if there's a fan. Let's see, fan control, if there is one. It might not be one. Brake, AC. Spark advance, injector, mill, main relay. No, oh, there we go, fan control. Perfect. Okay, I'm going to hit OK. And now we're going to be able to look at the temperature of the motor. Right now the motor is at, it looks like 104 degrees. You want to graph this though, okay? And we're going to see if the fan hasn't been commanded on yet. It's off. And right now, if you look at the fans, there's no air being blown on the fans. So this is what I want you to do. So don't lose the stylus on this scanner. Put it back in. And we're going to rev the car, and we're going to monitor our thermostat as we rev the car and note the time that this fan turns on. So this is what you need to do. Rev the car and point the pyrometer You should be able to see the, can you see the red dot? There you go. Put the pyrometer, zoom out a little bit, or walk out. And we want to measure, oh, we're reading Celsius, so I don't want to read Celsius. There we go. We want to read the temperature that this motor opens up the thermostat. And when the fan turns on. So when the thermostat opens, then the fan should turn on right after that. And I'm revving the car, if you see my left hand, I'm revving the car by my hand. And this temperature of the motor should increase slowly. Now the scanner says it's 189, I'm reading 185. Now the scanner is reading it, show where I'm putting it. It's reading off of the sensors back here. See where I put this dot? That's where the scanner is getting its sensor reading. And if I actually get the reading right from there, it comes out a lot higher, 198. But I want to see what temperature my thermostat opens. Look like 193 right there, and it dropped down, and it's going to climb back up. 191, 193, 4, 5, 7, 8, and then it's going to probably open up and cool off. And I also want to record what temperature the fan turns on. Oh, it's going to go all the way up to 200. There we go. The fan just turned on. So 200 degrees, the fan turns on. You can feel it right here. So the fan just turned on at 200 degrees. And now my coolant temperature is going to be dropping down. Now the fan turned off. So it's going to cycle back and forth. It's going to go hot, and then it's going to cool off. It's going to go hot, it's going to turn off. The fan usually turns on right after the thermostat opens up. So the thermostat's going to open up, and then the fan will turn on. So let's see. 6, 7, 8. There we go, the fan turned on at 210. And then it's going to slowly start to cool off. And you should see it drop back down to like 200. There we go, and it's dropping back down. It varies. Went down to like 206. So that thermostat's working fine, the fan's working fine. You could also do this with the infrared gun. Okay, so there's an X right here. That's like the laser light on a pyrometer. So you could take a picture of it with a trigger. So I just took a picture of it if you wanted to do that. Okay, so now you point it to where you want it to be measuring. And I want to measure my thermostat right there. Okay. And the actual temperature is over on the left. Now remember that it varies from the other tool, so the temperatures won't match exactly. There we go. 190. Okay, there we go. 193. We could go ahead and rev it. Should see it climb. I'll let you know when the fan comes on. The fan just turned on right there. So 190, according to the infrared gun, the fan turned on at 190, and then it went down to 183, and then it'll climb back up to 190 again. on here in a second. 190. 91, 92, fan kicked on. So according to this, the fan turns on 192. The pyrometer, which is less, oh, go ahead. The pyrometer is less accurate. The fan turned on at like 210. This turned on at 192. And you could see the graphing, how it changes here. So you can actually measure this. This is probably just as accurate as the infrared gun. So if you want to look at the two most accurate ways, the infrared gun or the scanner. Now what's interesting is I don't see that it commanded the, so maybe this is not a valid data for this car. Most cars this would show you when the fan turns on and when it turns off in relationship to your temperature. So these are the most accurate. This is probably the least accurate, and this is the one that's Harbor Freight. Okay. All right, so I went over a pyrometer, I went over an infrared gun, I went over a scanner. All three can be used to verify if your car is overheating or if it's running properly. You don't do this if you're low on coolant on the reservoir or the radiator. And what we're checking is we're checking our fan operation, which just turned on. We're checking our thermostat, and we're checking our ECT sensor back in here. And that we're reading the true temperature of the motor, noting when the thermostat opens and noting when the fan turns on. And those three work together to control the proper temperature of this motor.